till I reach the top somehow. I'll keep moving.
Yes, my Straight Talk family, you hear that theme song and you know that it's time for me to say greetings to the entire world. Time for me to say good night, St. Kitts and Nevis, and good night to the entire Caribbean region. To my Straight Talk family in the Kittitian and Division diaspora, as I said to you, greetings, but you are all over the world. So and some of you are in Asia, there are some of you in Europe, there are some of you in Africa, and there are a whole lot of you all over North America. So I'm at liberty to say good night. I can say good morning, and I'm also at liberty to say good afternoon, because one of such greetings will be applicable to the region in which you now find yourselves. And we do have first-timers, because many of you continue to share the link. And for that, we remain eternally grateful, because they bring us first-timers. And for the first-timers, we want to welcome you and trust and hope that it would not be your last time, but just to inform you in the process that Straight Talk is a public service program that facilitates and promotes free, underline free expressions on all issues of national interest, national, regional, and international interests, I may add, be they legal, be they environmental, be they technological, be they social, be they economic and or political issues on Straight Talk, we do have a forum to express ourselves freely. On this program, we try to raise the level of national, regional, and international consciousness. We try to raise the level of national, regional, and international discourse by alerting our people to their rights, to their responsibilities, and certainly to their obligations. My name is Ian Patches Liebert, and I thank Almighty God for blessing me with yet another opportunity to join you in conversation on yet another occasion. And as your host, I always pledge to remain an untiring advocate of truthfulness. I always commit to you as well that, and this is for the first timers in particular, to inform you that absolutely nothing is watered down here on Straight Talk. They tried to make it more interesting by omission or by exaggeration. Straight Talk is not about sensationalism or creating excitement, especially if that has to come at the expense of accuracy, because we always lean on the facts, as it is my bounden duty to present what I call the unvarnished truth, the plain truth, especially when it comes to governance, transparency, integrity, and all that goes with these issues. Here in St. Kitts and Nevis, and wherever you are in the world, because this program joins us together with people across our federation. We are joined with people in the diaspora all around the world. And some we will know, some we have never met, some we have met physically, some we have met spiritually. But we entertain what I call a diversity in views, because we are a different people. So some will agree with the positions of truth advanced here on Straight Talk, and some will disagree. And that's okay. That's fine. But please never sadden me and start to become disagreeable. So let's thank Almighty God in the meanwhile for helping us to understand, oh, how good and how pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity. Let us therefore hope and pray for that day when we will all sing his praise together. So my Straight Talk family, I welcome you again, and thanks for those who continue to share the link. Like I said, you bring first timers, and we are eternally grateful for that. Please continue to do so. I must as well remind you and inform the first timers that Straight Talk is a participative program. By that I mean we include your calls, and we include your emails. And if you so mind calling, the numbers are on your screens. If you're one who like what I call the cloak of anonymity, you don't want to be heard, we give you access via our email platform, and that address as well is also on your screens. We are at times heard live on Alexa. And those who have that app, you know what, just say Alexa play Massive Vibes Radio, and we thank Massive for continuing to facilitate us at a modest cost. And we always welcome, especially our Straight Talk Junior Brigade, Young Dwayne, Tristan, Jasmine, Shamar, Kevin, Young Rue, Jamal, Travis, Travon, and Neymar asked me to share something. What was it again? He asked me to share his artwork on Straight Talk for him. I promised I would. That's my grandson. I would lose my job if I didn't do that. So my Straight Talk family, let's hail Saraya as well. Gave a wonder, a touching testimony at church yesterday, Saraya. You almost brought me to tears. Elizabeth And that special lady in St. Louis, we say greetings. So the Queen in Texas, was it you I heard shout out at that ceremony there in the UK? Wow. We congratulate you. Is it your brother or your nephew on achieving his LLB over there? Somewhere in, was it London? University of London, I believe. I stand to be corrected. But my Straight Talk family, welcome again. And just to remind you that we normally have our observations in review. That's the moment when we highlight the current issues, we do some reflection, we ask a few questions, and we try to ensure that we have learned, or you have learned something from the process. Because we as a people, it's important that we learn. And after our observations and review, we will move to our thesis for tonight, which I have titled, Stronger Together, the Path Back to Government. Yes, stronger together, the path back to government. But first, my Straight Talk family, on a sad note, we heard of the passing of Elston Nero, better known to all of us as King Elellat, who has transitioned this life here on earth to a place of eternal rest. And his passing marks the end of an era in St. Kitts and Nevis. A true giant of calypso, Elellat was more than a performer. He was a musical arranger par excellence and a cultural force whose music defined generations and brought life to carnival, to the community, and even to the church, my Straight Dog family. He even brought celebrations to the church. Yes, my Straight Talk family, King Elellat also brought celebrations to the church, a church there we understand in New York. The 10-time crowned Calypso King of St. Kitts and Nevis, and I believe a 7th-time crowned road match champion. But his talent, creativity, and leadership shaped the sound of a nation and inspired countless artists from throughout the Caribbean. But though he has taken his final bow, my Straight Talk family, the melodies of King Elellat, his spirit and legacy will continue to echo wherever Kittitian culture is celebrated. Straight Talk extends condolences to his brothers, his sisters, also his many fans, in particular from Newtown and all over the world. Rest in peace, King Elellat. Your music will never fade. And our first observation on the local scene, my Straight Talk family, we go to football. And the Final Four has been decided. The teams have been named. Old Road United Jets, Azul Keon Rockets, Development Bank St. Peters, and Honda Newtown United. And I'll be a little biased, of course, because Newtown is back. And we wish them well. But the Final Four starts on, or kicks off on Saturday, May 2nd. My Straight Dog family at the National Bank Group Technical Center. So, we wish the best team will win. And our second observation, my Straight Dog family, another economic citizen of St. Kitts and Nevis is on the run, according to this press statement on your screens. As you can see from the caption, reward offer of up to $4 million for information leading to the arrest of Chinese scam center money launderer. And the press statement in a nutshell says that the Department of State's Bureau of International Narcotics and Law Enforcement Affairs has announced a reward offer under the Transnational Organized Crime Rewards Program, TOCRP, of up to $4 million for information leading to the arrest of Darren Lee for facilitating the laundering of proceeds for various scam centers in Southeast Asia. Lee was convicted and sentenced on money laundering charges in the U.S. court for the Central District of California, but he remains a fugitive. And guess what? He's carrying a St. Kitts Nevis passport. And St. Kitts, again, more bad news for the Federation. And our third observation, my Straight Dog family, we move to the international scene once more. And the third assassination attempt on President Trump on Saturday, according to this report.
Our breaking news now. We are seeing these new courtroom sketches of the suspected press dinner shooter, 31-year-old Cole Allen. Investigators say a journal entry written by Allen revealed he intended to specifically target Trump administration officials. Allen is charged with use of a firearm during a crime of violence, transportation of a firearm with intent to commit a felony, and attempting to assassinate the President of the United States. This latest incident raises new questions about security protocols surrounding President Trump.
This is the third major assassination attempt against President Trump in 2 years.
Obviously, we do need to look at security measures when you're going to gather that many people there.
No one inside the ballroom was injured, but a Secret Service officer was shot in his bulletproof vest and is said to be okay. And just into our newsroom within the last 30 minutes, Florida Congressman Carlos Jimenez responding to the shooting in the nation's capital, saying, quote, "I am grateful to the brave men and women of the Secret Service and our law enforcement agencies who put themselves in harm's way to protect our nation's leaders." He went on to say, quote, "I am working with my Republican colleagues to ensure a full and thorough review so we can strengthen protections and safeguard our capital."
Thanks, my Straight Dog family. The President and all members of his cabinet and those who attended the correspondence dinner are safe. And we understand that that dinner is postponed until sometime next month, my Straight Talk family. But Cole has appeared in court today, and Straight Talk will continue to follow that story by Straight Talk family. But those are my observations and review for tonight, and we will move right into our thesis, which again I have titled Strong Be with me, my Straight Talk family. I've been having some distractions here, but again, stronger together, the path back to government. And it's a topic I, for some time, have been reluctant to discuss. I've been very reluctant to discuss this topic, my Straight Talk family, for quite a lot of reasons. And I have decided tonight I will address it in this particular way. Because my Straight Talk family, there was a moment in our recent history when unity prevailed over division, and when three political forces, the People's Action Movement, PAM, the People's Labour Party, PLP, and the Concerned Citizens Movement, answered the call of the people. And the public, the people made its voice clear, or their voices clear. And in no uncertain terms demanded that these parties should come together, work together, and govern together. And that was the notion of the majority of voters back in 2013, my Straight Talk family. Back in 2013, that is what the people were saying. They were saying that unity was important to contest the elections against the incumbent, then Denzel Douglas Labour Party, my Straight Talk family.
Over the two polls that we did, one of the issues we looked at was how people felt about a group of politicians who might become united. What was clear from the outset was that there was a notion that unity was important to contest an election against the incumbent. But what is important is that regardless of where they come from, whether it's CCM or Labour or New Labour or whatever the key point is, you can call it what you will. What came out was that there was a feeling that a united group would be important. And I make the point, united group rather than a unity party would be important to oppose the incumbent.
And that call led to the formation of the said united group of parties, which was later labeled Team Unity. And in 2015, it brought electoral success and replaced a nigh 20-year-old administration led by Denzel Llewellyn Douglas. In 2015, it came to an end. And for 7 years, that coalition held the reins of government. That coalition demonstrated what is possible when cooperation overcomes rivalry. It demonstrated that governance is not just about party colors, but about responsibility to people. And during that time, the coalition had what every political organization ultimately seeks, which is the authority to act, the authority to implement policy, and to shape the future of this nation. Nevis was for once not an afterthought. Nevis had a seat at the table.
We were told when we got into office that we wouldn't last 6 weeks, then 6 months. Now I'm hearing them say we won't last 20 years. The truth is that those opposed to this new paradigm never quite understood what we were seeking to achieve. And what we were seeking to achieve is bigger than any individual. In fact, there is some evidence to sustain that, because when Team Unity was formed and came together, the Honorable Vance Amory, senior statesman, was leading the CCM team. He passed over to me. And there was no relaxation in the enthusiasm for Team Unity. And so even through that transition, we recognize that the Concerned Citizens Movement as a political party on the island of Nevis remain committed to this ideal. Because I will tell you candidly, we have seen what the other side looks like, and it has not been pleasant for Nevis. And we have now seen what Team Unity looks and feels like, and we like it.
Yes, he confessed he liked it. But after the change of baton from the late Vance Winkworth Amory, things changed. And history has taught us difficult lessons. The same coalition that rose on unity eventually faltered because it could not sustain it. Differences emerge, as they always do in any partnership. But instead of resolving them, instead of placing country above conflict, those differences were allowed to divide and weaken the government. Dialogue gave way to discord. Compromise was replaced by confrontation. And ultimately, the coalition was fractured. That breakdown carried with it consequences that led to fresh elections in 2022.
My brothers and sisters, let me be clear. One hand cannot clap, and PAM and CCM cannot by themselves save Team Unity as currently configured if the PLP and its leadership has no interest in resolving the issues that confront us. To this end, and consistent with our ongoing efforts to save our Team Unity government, the Honourable Sean Richards and I have delivered a written communication to the Honourable Prime Minister, setting out our position for a path forward. We have taken the unprecedented step of putting a deadline of Wednesday, April 20th, 2022 for a response from the Prime Minister, barring which we can only conclude that he and his team have no interest or desire to save this Team Unity government. We shall therefore know by Wednesday whether we can achieve resolution or whether we face dissolution.
And the rest is history. In the 2022 elections, when unity was needed most, the vision prevailed by the Straight Dog family. Two of the former partners returned to the electorate separately. And Brantley said this.
I have had discussions with the Honourable Sean Richards. We would have undertaken this last election as a one movement construct. We had committed that the Honourable Sean Richards would be supported as Prime Minister. Unfortunately, that did not happen.
Well, the people decided that. Yes, the result was defeat for the two partners. Not necessarily because the people rejected every idea or achievement, but because the strength that once inspired confidence had been lost. This outcome challenges a long-held belief that it is always better to be in government rather than being in opposition. Because while it is true that government brings power, the power to implement policies, to allocate resources, and to directly impact lives, that power is not guaranteed. It must be maintained through discipline, cooperation, and a shared commitment to purpose. And the reality is this: being in government is not just an opportunity, it is a responsibility. And when that responsibility is neglected, when internal conflict overshadows national interests, the privilege of governance can be taken away. And so today, those parties, PAM and CCM and PLP, find themselves in opposition. In that position, they ought to be voice. They ought to be authority. There ought to be some influence. But there can be no control. But with the opposition leader, we have none of them. No policies proposed, although they cannot be implemented. Decisions of the government ought to be critiqued, though they cannot be executed. But in the opposition, it ought to be a place of reflection, but it is one of limitation. The lesson here is not simply about loss. It is about understanding what was lost and why it was lost. The people asked for unity, and unity delivered victory. Team Unity delivered the resurfacing of the entire Island Main Road, recall? The building of resilience at Old Road Bay. No longer and never ever will there be rock fall. No rock will fall on no vehicle and kill anyone ever again. Having built resilience across Old Road Bay. And though you hear them say nothing happened in 7 years, so far from the truth. The entire runway at the Robert Llewellyn International Airport, Robert Llewellyn Bradshaw International Airport, was resurfaced. Brand new runway lighting were installed. The 3 taxiways, Alpha, Bravo, and Charlie, were all refurbished and open. And 50% of the apron parking was resurfaced until it was halted because of COVID-19. Traffic lights in Bastille were installed under Team Unity. The East and West bus terminals were constructed. An air-conditioned ferry terminal was constructed. And the construction of the second cruise pier that accommodate 2 Oasis-class vessels simultaneously were all done in the 7 years. And I may say in the 5 years, because I had a hand in all of them. The 5 years, first 5 years of Team Unity. But division in turn delivered defeat. And if there's a path forward, it lies therefore in remembering that lesson. It lies in recognizing that the true strength of leadership is not avoiding disagreement, but in managing disagreement. It lies in placing the interests of the nation above the interests of any single party or personality. Because at the end of the day, governance is not about who sits in power. Governance is about how that power is used and whether it is preserved for the benefit of the people. History has already taught us a lesson, one we can ignore at our own peril. In this country, divided opposition guarantees one outcome: prolonged rule by those already in power. United opposition, on the other hand, creates the only viable path back to government. And that is not speculation. That is empirical fact. And look no further than 1980. Look again at 2015. And on both occasions, the People's Action Movement did not rise to power alone. It rose to power through coalition, through unity, through strategic cooperation. And that is how governments are won in St. Kitts and Nevis. That is how the will of the people is translated into leadership, my Straight Talk family.
Entities within Team Unity seem to have felt, but we can go it alone, right? The strength of PAM historically was the fact that PAM understood that its participation in government was invariably a result of someone associating themselves with them and keeping them in government. The fact that Sean Richards appeared to believe that PAM could win an election on his own and that he could become a prime minister on his own was, in my opinion, the beginning of the end of PAM in operations. And this is where Natasha Gray Books comes into the case, because she seems to have been drinking the same Kool-Aid. So my question is, who is whispering in her ear and telling her, you can do this thing? And leaders has to understand that you need to be able to lead from in front. And leadership means that you often have to convince yourself of things that are popular and unpopular. So there's a level of political immaturity, I think, that is playing out.
And yet, in 2022, what did we witness? A reckless dismantling of unity, a coalition broken, a government mashed up, as the people themselves have said. And the electorate responded decisively. They delivered a lesson. Clear, unmistakable, and deserved. It is better to be in government than to sit divided in opposition. Today, the country is living with the consequences. Under Terence Michael Drew and the Labour administration, the past 4 years have not met the expectations of the people. The past 4 years epitomizes hard times. Discontent is rising. The call for change is growing louder in every constituency, in every community, in every household. Things are hard, things are bad. But let us be honest. Change will not come through wishful thinking. It will not come through ego. It will not come through political stubbornness. It will only come through unity. And this is where the People's Action Movement must confront reality. The current posture, this insistence on aligning with PLP but rejecting its leader, Timothy Harris, is not strategy. It is contradiction. It is political self-sabotage. Leadership matters, my Straight Talk family. Influence matters. Electoral strength matters. And the truth is simple. Among the political figures in this country, there are only a few with demonstrated national appeal. And they are in this order. That's not me. that has come from the political consultants, the pollsters. And the order is Timothy Harris, Denzel Douglas, and then at a distant third, Terrence Drew. And this is what came from Peter Wickham just recently.
Talk about Sean Richards as a potential leader. I've never heard anybody mention Natasha Gray Brooks as a potential leader. Azar Gums is a potential leader. I've never heard people talking about even Mark Brantley as a leader of the Federation. But they talk about Harris, they talk about Drew, they talk about Denzel Douglas. And against that background, in a situation where you don't have a lot of time, I would think that it would make perfect sense to put the person leading it as the person who was, well known, and people seem to have a lot of confidence in his ability to lead.
And these are the political realities, whether we like them or not. And this is coming from Peter Wickham, one who earns his living from political consulting. So I must believe Peter, because to pretend otherwise is to misread the electorate. And what of Pam's own leadership? Bold claims are being made, but claims do not win elections. Votes do. Confidence does. The ability to command a constituency does. If a leader cannot secure a clear majority in his or her own base, how can he or she credibly claim the ability to lead a nation? And this is not personal. This is political arithmetic. So we arrive at a crossroads, my Straight Dog family. Our path is pride, division, fragmentation, and another inevitable defeat. The other path is pragmatism, unity, coalition, and a genuine chance to return to government. Do you think that the choice is difficult? That's a question I'll ask tonight. Should PAM and PLP come together? Or should PLP and NRP come together? Fully, honestly, and strategically. Not halfway, not conditionally, not with artificial red lines that weaken the very alliance required to win. Let us be honest, my Straight Dog family. Do you believe a divided opposition guarantees a Labour victory? Every time, many people say, if PAM refuses to face this reality, then it is not Labour that will keep them out of government. It is their own decisions. The people are ready for change. They are calling for change. But they cannot deliver that change if those seeking to lead them remain divided. This moment demands maturity. It demands courage. It demands leadership grounded in reality, not illusion. Some say unite or lose. That is a choice. Just last week, one strong Pamite confessed to me, a friend of mine, that PAM urgently needs to dialogue with PLP, but not with Harris. I reminded my friend that Harris is the leader of PLP. Another senior member of the PAM executive confided in me that he was adamant that if PLP wants to contest the seat in constituency number 1, then PAM will have no discussion whatsoever with PLP. In the end, what I have heard over these past weeks from those in opposition is not strategy. It is hesitation dressed up in principle and division disguised as strength. When serious voices argue that dialogue can happen with a party but not with its leader, or that discussions collapse over a single constituency, in my view, it exposes a deeper issue It exposes a lack of political maturity at a moment that demands exactly the opposite. History offers a clearer standard. Think of George Washington, who walked away from power when he could have held on to it, placing country above self, and establishing a democratic tradition that endures in the United States of America till today. Think of Nelson Mandela, who chose reconciliation over revenge, sacrificing personal and political advantage to unify a fractured nation. Think about Basil Pandey, who made difficult decisions in pursuit of stability and social justice, understanding that leadership is not about ego. Leadership is about outcome. These examples are not distant stories, my Straight Talk family. They are reminders of what real leadership requires. If those who seek to govern St. Kitts and Nevis cannot rise above narrow interests, cannot compromise, cannot unify, then they are not ready to lead my Straight Talk family. I mentioned Mandela. Mandela's legacy is defined by the choice of reconciliation over retribution. He spent 27 years in prison for his fight against apartheid, sacrificing his freedom, family life, and health for the greater goal of equality. Upon his release, he chose to negotiate with his former jailers rather than pursue revenge, a move that successfully prevented a potentially catastrophic civil war. In a famous gesture of national healing, he wore the Springbok jersey, a symbol formerly associated with white supremacy. During the 1995 Rugby World Cup, to signal to white South Africans that they had a place in the new democracy. Setting a real example in post-colonial Africa, he chose to serve only one term as president from 1994 to 1999, prioritizing democratic stability over personal power. Come to Trinidad and Tobago. I mentioned Basil Pandey, known as the Silver Fox, is credited with breaking historical ethnic barriers in Caribbean politics. He campaigned tirelessly to transcend the racial Rubicon, attempting to unite working masses across Afro-Trinidadian and Indo-Trinidadian lines. He dedicated his early career to the struggle of sugar workers, often at significant personal and legal risk, my Straight Talk family, for improved wages and the elimination of child labor in the fields. His election in 1995 was a landmark moment for representation. And once in power, my Straight Talk family, he implemented policies like universal secondary education and the Equal Opportunity Act to ensure that the state's resources were distributed more equitably rather than favoring his own base. The National Alliance for Reconstruction, NAR, was a landmark multiracial political coalition in Trinidad and Tobago, formed in 1986 to end the 30-year rule of the People's National Movement, PNM. It is well remembered for breaking the country's traditional ethnic voting patterns by uniting Afro-Trinidadian and Indo-Trinidadian constituencies under a single rainbow banner. And my Straight Talk family, the NAR was born from a merger of 4 distinct opposition groups, led by Basio Pandey, the ULF, United Labour Front, led by A.N.R. Robinson, the Democratic Action Congress, based in Tobago, and led by Carl Hudson Phillips, a centrist party formed by Panem dissidents, the Organization for National Reconstruction, and the Tapia House movement, led by intellectual Lloyd Best. Yes, governing the NRA had challenges. And my Straight Talk family, any partnership would have challenges. And as I said before, and in conclusion, the examples I gave you of Mandela and Basio Pandey, they are not distant stories. They are reminders of what real leadership requires. And if those who seek to govern St. Kitts and Nevis cannot rise above narrow political interests or narrow interest period, who cannot compromise, who cannot unify, then they are not ready to lead. The path forward is not complicated. It is simply not difficult. The path forward requires humility. The path forward requires realism. And above all, it requires unity. Stronger together is not a slogan. It is only the path back to government. And that's my story, my Straight Talk family, and I am not going to change it. I'm going to open the lines because I want to hear from you. I want to hear your voice, whether you agree or you disagree. That is what Straight Talk is all about. But before I open the lines, and I'll do so momentarily, I anticipate that we will respect others, my Straight Talk family. And of course, to achieve that, you must first respect yourselves. Let us try to be fair to all concerned, and let us try to build goodwill and better friendships. Let us ensure that the things we say and or do will be beneficial to all concerned. And in the process of saying and or doing those things, let us strive to build a kinder, gentler St. Kitts and Nevis. With that said, I go to the lines and take our first caller. It's 7 before the 9 o'clock hour. Caller, you're live.
Good night, Mr. Liver.
Good night, my dear. And how about that?
I am great. The ignorance of one voter is a democracy. Impairs the security of all.
Is a democracy impairs the security of all?
The ignorance of one voter is a democracy impairs the security of all.
Democracy that impairs the security of all.
Hello?
Is it the democracy that impairs the security of all?
The security of all.
Okay.
I repeat, the ignorance of one voter is a democracy impairs the security of all. Have a great evening.
Are you saying impairs? I-M-P-A-I?
Impairs. M-I-M-P-A-I-R-S. Impairs
Okay, so
the security of all.
Okay, thank you very much for your
Have a great evening.
Thanks a lot. I'll interject with that. The ignorance of one voter is a democracy that impairs the security of all. That's coming from our quotationists from across the Narrows there, my Straight Talk family. And we always welcome our contribution from across the Narrows. And tonight we have asked a few questions in the context of our thesis title, or the title of our thesis tonight. Stronger Together, the path to leadership Stronger Together, beg your pardon, the path to leadership. Let me take that back. And I want us to be honest. Do you believe a divided opposition guarantees the incumbent's victory? Caller, you're live. Hello, caller.
Mr. Straight Talk.
Abracadabra.
Abracadabra. How are you, my wonderful brother?
I'm peaceful. I haven't heard you for some time, my brother. Are you good?
Yes, man. Yes. Yeah, I'm good. In spite of all that go on, you know. There's this thing about a ship that you have to ride out the storm, and it's a thing about a ship that, you know, once the storm is headed, you have to secure that ship. So, you know, that's all I'm trying to do is ride out my storm, and it's going good. So how are you otherwise?
I am peaceful. Yourself?
What can I say, man? God is good. You sounds good tonight. You sound real. Is one thing I just said that Mark Brantley is a lawyer when he come and talk about you what unity do, because, you know, he never come back and said, look, this was wrong, but he think about where he want to go and take Nevis, and that's the wrong way he carrying it. Anyway, let me just say good night to my lovely friends outside there. My lovely niece there in St. Louis and Texas Queen. Good night. How are you, my lovely sister? Ellis, my brother from another mother, and Alvin and his son there, Jordan and Abigail. Mr. Straight Talk, if we not going to have another collision in St. Kitts, we are not going to make it. Okay. Understand? Because this thing is not about one person. Understand? Is a thing that you talk about Mandela and look and see. Mandela put away his wife now because she want him to seek revenge. Mm-hmm. Understand? And he says, no, this is not the way that I'm going to go. And that was the biggest thing, and people couldn't believe. People expect him and had to finish out their life. But he said, no, you done too much, and this is what I want to do. I'm going to go this way. And he went that way, and look how peaceful that man lived his life until he died. So that's all that St. Kitts can look to see that. Look, if you want to go by yourself, that's on you. But it's not going to work. It's not going to work because from ever since they had to Pam jump in, he had to get the Ivor Steven and them to jump on his ship to make the ship stronger. More money on it. He handle the cargo faster. Mm-hmm. Simple as that. So that's all I have to say, that you are doing a wonderful job. Just do what you got to do. Really, that church is in New York, that Elellat, they were doing that I Love St. Kitts thing.
I can't tell exactly where in New York, but I confirm it's a church in New York.
Man, those people is something else.
Yeah, they were enjoying the celebration.
Yeah.
You know?
I hear you were saying that you was going to, maybe I'm wrong, but you were saying to Massive that you're going to see him soon.
Massive?
Massive boys.
That's always possible.
Yeah.
Yes, that's always possible.
Yes. That's good. Yeah. You can't talk that way. Nothing wrong, because I tell people that all the time. I'll see them when I see them soon, and they say, "How soon?" I say, "Soon." You know, it's soon. So, Mr. Straight Talk, I think I says enough for tonight. I just wanted to take care of yourself until you come my way and me come your way. One of those we're gonna work. The ship gonna come to the harbor. I don't know which one. You know?
Well,
but that's what we are headed for.
Yes, it's all possible, my brother. From another mother. Always good to hear.
So take care of yourself, my brother, from another mother, until I see you. When I see you, take care of yourself and do your job as a good man's arm. Like I always tell people, do what you have to do. You could never go wrong. And you are doing it. You even get a new listener last week there. I got to find out from her what's went down. But she tell me she going to listen. So I just have to challenge her on it. But, Mr. Straight Talk, you take care of yourself until I see you. When I see you. See you soon. Abracadabra.
Abracadabra. Yes, my brother from another mother. And yes, the examples provided, as I said, are not distant stories, are examples of Nelson Mandela. I spoke of Basjo Pande in Trinidad and Tobago, and also of George Washington. But they are examples, or rather are reminders of what real leadership requires. And I submit, if those who seek to govern our federations, St. Kitts and Nevis, cannot rise above narrow interests, if those who seek to lead us cannot compromise, if those who seek to lead us cannot unify, then I submit they are not ready to lead. I made mention of George Washington and my Street Dog family. There are many other examples around the world with the liberals and the in the UK and elsewhere, my Street Dog family. But let's go back to the lines and thank this caller for holding. Caller, you're live. Hello, caller.
Patches, good night. Good night. Good night. Ian Patches, but good night.
Good night, my brother. Sounds like politics.
First, I always want to thank God for life and thank God for a blessed country. And if we let leaders, good leaders, to lead our country will surely be number one in the world, although we're small. But when we're going to let leaders to corrupt and try to fill the pocket and do all kind of manner things to the own people in this country who elect them, when to the poll elect them, we got to do something about it. And I want to say condolences going out to the King Elellat, one of our national icon, calypso icon and musical icon. He put St. Kitts on the wall with music, calypso, and all kind of music. I want to say condolences to the Nero and the Matthew family up there in your town. Elellat was a star, and I want to commend ZIZ. The DJs, ZIZ, the feature Elellat all today, and that is so good. All right, Patrick. And then let me move on, Patrick. Patrick, what I realize now, I hope St. Kitts people are aware of what's going on in this country. Patrick, I see a lot of St. Vincent people all over the country right now. And Patrick, I am not against people coming in your country. But you had Jamaican, you had Guyanese, you had Spanish, and you had a few people from different countries. Now I see St. Kitts shower down with St. Vincent, and I don't have these people coming in to deprive our people out of a government. And Patrick, this is reality. We say that we are 98% literate, 98% literate. And if we're 98% literate, whether you're Labour, whether you're PAM, whether you're NRP, CCM, or whatever, PLP, Patrick, you're supposed to allow, not because you're supporting a political party, you're supposed to allow other people to come in and determine a government for you. That is wrong. Because we cannot go in the country go it. Last night I hear the failed Minister of Agriculture, because I was listening to me, because I was listening, talk about Ishmael R8. Ishmael R8, and up to now, he ain't delivered for agriculture in this country. Farmers are crying out. Are we talking about theater and all kind of thing, and all kind of different thing, and traveling, going out of the country, different place with, and Patrick, right now, you can't get vertical in St. Kitts, but you could get vertical in St. Kitts. Because where the people of the agriculture tell you, the government didn't have no money to buy in the vertical. But you could get vertical in Nevis. And right now, the cattle for the Doma again, Patrick. The cattle wash out with Doma. The agriculture minister, let me tell you, here the first point. I could tell you here the first point, Patrick. Because he ain't delivering the talking. And, he ain't bringing nothing back to the country. Let you because he's come like a down there, he and Dr. Judah before. Patrick, have a wonderful night. If I get anything else, I'll come back.
Thanks a lot, my dear brother, for your contribution. Mr. Politics. He's saying that skin disease is back on the animals. That's not good news. My straight talk family. But agriculture is in the doldrums. But my straight talk family, we raised the issue tonight about leadership. And our thesis, as we said, stronger together, the path to leadership. And when we reflect on the last 4 years, we are living with some consequences, all because our leaders fail to keep unity together. Caller, you're live. Hello, caller.
Greetings, Mr. Patches. How are you?
I am peaceful, my brother. Yourself?
I'm very good indeed. Humanity by nature is gifted to think freely. But in order that this free thought should lead him to the goal of liberty and independence, his way of thinking must be shaped by the process of education. Mr. Patches, I must tell you, I know one day, one of your programs, you have this thesis on the floor to debate because it's a very interesting, debatable thesis, Mr. Patches. So you bring it at the right time too, Mr. Patches. Stronger together, the path to leadership. I mean,
to government.
Before 2015, is the people prayed unto God. God answered the people prayer for the unity of government in office. Unity wasn't about Timothy. It was about a government together. It wasn't about more party colors. And you played a clip tonight pertaining Mark Brantley. I mean, he was a part of the government at the time here when he was issuing them words to the Prime Minister. And he talking as though he different from the government. He was a part of the government when he's saying those kind of things to the public. And the other one from Sandy Point. I mean, these guys has gone as though how is to Pam something. Pam killed herself. Is the remnants of Pam trying to make a stir over what? They had the deputy prime ministership in a unity administration. Being 26, they're still alive. Everybody's still alive who was in the office. So what was the rush? Popularity. Timothy was getting too popular. That's all. Because they had the most seats in the government, both he and Mark. And they couldn't even get the Attorney General with them. Look who stayed in the government. Not with Harris, who stayed in the government. Powell, Osborne, I mean, them they strong Pam. Wendy Phipps, them they strong Pam. So if Timothy had to Pam something, them they would not have remain in a government with Timothy. No, they see the maturity within Timothy. That's why they stayed on in the government. Because them Pam themselves is about unity and it's about governance. And a unity party or whatever shouldn't look like the begging Pam to be a unity. No. They are the ones who already perform in the country. They have a record. Unity have a record. Sean was there. While she was in government, he called a press conference for the Marriott. Interrupt Monday morning. Public call a press conference. I was in the press conference. Not a thing pertaining he within the government. He never tell the country the ministries ain't getting no finance. Mark, on the other hand, he was getting all kind of advice for Nevis. He said it from himself, and the reality is there. But he himself was mature enough to perform. That's all. And they, on the other hand, both Mark and Sean, never yet, until today, never yet present something to say Timothy was some kind of fault of the government. It's about ego. Just all about ego, Mr. Patches. And as I say, you brought the right topic tonight. And listen, they were trying to make believe was Harris signing these things for passport. Martinez is the one who come on with a clip on your show and said it was the Prime Minister who did that. And I never heard the Prime Minister reject that kind of accusation from Martinez. So, with the thing about, it's how we be with criticisms, you know. When Unity take over, I'm going to be ready now, Mr. Patch. When Unity take over this country, it was on the IMF program. Sam Conde is the one who tell the whole world and the country that the country going on a dark road. It was on the IMF policies.
True.
Unity get rid of that. Unity get rid of that and put in their own policies. You only could have put your own policies by getting rid of the debt. Mr. Patches, we saying if in this collision, but unity could be of a party itself. Is the people. The people must start to get in mind what unity did when they was there. Because Timothy ain't trying to sin on the country. I as a citizen may see that. If I see it, I would say it. The first thing he do, he start to fix house roof, and the government just come out and say they leave this amount of money in the treasury, but people house roof won't fix. This people money he was spending on people. Some of them get vexed with that. I didn't get none, but he was doing, why is he doing? Every month people go back, they get money on the unity, and I never hear nobody complain and say they ain't get paid. So it's about management. Mr. Patches, you continue to be strong, stay healthy, stay positive. God bless.
God bless you as well. Thanks for the contribution. And for 7 years, yes, the coalition held the reins of government. It demonstrated what is possible when cooperation overcomes rivalry. Let's go back to the lines. It's 13 past 9 o'clock. Our caller, you live. Hello, caller. Hey, there, caller. Okay, let's take this other call. Caller, you are live. Hello, caller.
Yes, Fatih. Good evening to you. You could hear me?
I'm hearing you loud and clear, my dear.
Oh, okay. How are you?
I am peaceful. What about yourself? What about you? Are you there?
Yes, I'm here. I'm right here.
You just broke up, but go ahead.
You can hear me now?
Yes, we're hearing you. Go right ahead.
What I'm trying to say is that true saying that wrong will come right and right will come wrong. And there is where we are right. I want to know what Timothy Harris have done to sympathize with the people in this country here. He have done well for a prime minister the first time. He has done well. I do not know what the man there do for the 7.5 years he was in there. India cannot touch him up to now. So why are they so hate Harris? Harris is a petition and an division. They are bringing people from all over and I bring them there. And do all of the things. And me not hear think people are going to. Why Harris do them? Harris have done well. Harris went round and Harris campaign a lot of them, make them in the sea and what's not. What Harris have done to Simplets and Nevis people? Huh? Because he do good, they ain't want him. Well, they going to be Harris now. So whoever I tell you not don't bring Harris, well, they have a thing coming. Harris is coming. So let them wait. They have to wait for it. So I'm grateful that I have to them. That's what they know. One good follow.
Thank you very much. We do apologize for the quality of the call. But my Straight Talk family, leadership matters. Influence matters. And electoral strength matters. And the truth is simple. Among the political figures in this country, there are only a few with demonstrated national appeal. And they are in this order: Timothy Harris, Denzel Douglas, and at a distant third, Terence Drew. But we'll get back to that. Let's hear what this caller is saying. Caller, you're live. Hello, caller? Are you there, caller? Okay, we seem to have lost this caller. Let's see what's happening here. Okay, we seem to have lost that caller. Let's go back to the lines and take this call. Caller, you are live. Hello, caller. Are you there, caller? What's going on here? Okay, let's take this. Are you there, caller? Hello, caller?
Yes, I'm here.
Yes,
I'm here.
Okay, we seem to have lost it just now.
Hello?
Yes, good night. You're live. You're live. It's 9:17.
Good night. Hi, Patrice.
How art thou, my dear?
Hi. Good. I'm agree 100% with the last caller there. With Mark, you all putting the pressure on Mark. Mark is that, but Simmons is this leader at the Palm Party. Simmons is the one that giving the direction. So let they take the pressure off, some pressure off of Mark. Because since when they had the last, when I listened to them good, when they had the thing down there, the convention down Sandy Point, when Simmons had talk, and the way how he went on, I said, what's going on? And there's why I pick it up. Okay, that is one part of the story. The next story, Jeffrey said last night that he gave the upper cut of the houses because he'd already done 800 houses. So maybe that is the campaign promise that he had for them. So that is what I have to say.
So why he's saying for 2,400 and he could have done them locally?
He said that he did. He said that he did give them the upper cut. I done 800 houses. So that means that is the campaign promise that he had for. I mean, he didn't say that, but that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
That's the campaign promise he had for them. He already gave them the 800 houses.
Okay, I got you.
You know. So that is why. Anyway, that's my 2 pence for the time being.
Thanks a lot for your 2 pence. It's worth more than that. Caller, thank you for holding. You are live. Hello, caller. Are you there, caller? Yes, sir, you're live. Yes, Mr. Bibleman, you're live.
Good night, Mr. Patel.
Good night, sir. How art thou?
And how are you?
I am peaceful. What about yourself?
Now,
Turn off your equipment. Turn off your equipment and listen to your telephone. Turn off your equipment, Bibleman. Turn off your equipment. Turn off your equipment. Listen to the telephone.
Here.
Yes, sir.
Psalm 49. They that trust in their word and boast themselves in multitude of riches. Now, Psalms 60, Psalm 66. Psalm 66. Now, I come back to that. Psalm 75 package.
On today.
Promotion.
Cometh neither from the east.
For promotion not coming from the east, nor the west,
nor the south,
nor the south.
Mm-hmm.
Psalm 41 package. Blessed is the man that considereth the poor.
That's your road match.
In the time of trouble, the Lord shall deliver him.
Yes.
Now, here in Psalm 66, verse 18, and I want everybody to hear this. If we guard iniquity in our heart, the Lord will not hear. The Lord will not hear me. If you regard iniquity in your heart, the Lord will not hear me. Psalm 91. He that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High
shall abide
under the shadow of thy mighty. I will say to the Lord, he is my refuge, my fortress, in God will I trust.
Yes.
That is
Yes, sir.
Psalm 92. Hear this one here. Psalm 92. Ha! That is Psalm 92. To set forth thy loving kindness in the morning and thy faithfulness every night. That is, it is a good thing to give God thanks unto the Lord.
Please.
And to sing praise unto thy name.
Okay.
Psalm 93. The Lord reigneth. He is clothed with majesty. The Lord clothed with strength.
Okay, man.
With shall God himself.
Okay.
The world also to establish.
Okay,
that cannot be moved.
Okay.
That is, good night.
Thanks a lot for what I call your spiritual intervention, Mr. Bibleman. And this email reads, good night, Patches. What is really going on at the tourism department? Imagine the staff gone to work this morning could not get in the office because someone stole the security system, which is a face ID from the Ministry of Tourism. What were they trying to break into tourism department for? Marsha and her permanent secretary are so incompetent that this department has now come to shame. Never in the history something like this ever happened there. But I hope they investigate this matter the way it should and expose the perpetrators. Have a good night, reads this email. This other email reads, what does the law apply to in St. Kitts? The Apaches. There's a growing concern in St. Kitts that needs to be addressed openly and honestly. When the Prime Minister stated that Haitians had reached their quota, it introduced the idea that limits exist within our immigration system. If that is the case, then those limits must be applied fairly and consistently. It cannot be one standard for one group and another for everyone else. At the same time, there is increasing public discussion suggesting that some individuals may be receiving faster access to residency and even potential pathways to full citizenship. These reports may or may not be accurate, but the absence of clear information is creating distrust. This is not about Vincentians, Jamaicans, Haitians, or any other nationality. All have contributed positively to the development of this country. The issue is whether decisions are being made based on transparent policy or perceived preference and influence. If there is no imbalance, the government should clarify the rules and processes. If there is, then the country deserves accountability. You cannot speak of quotas in one breath and operate flexibility in another without raising serious concern, reads this email. And for those who may have just joined me, my Straight Talk family, it's 9:27, and we are examining our thesis for tonight, which I have titled Stronger Together, the Path Back to Government. And in the introduction, I raise the issues as it relates to moments of history. And I made the point that there was a moment in our recent history when unity prevailed over division, when three political forces, the People's Action Movement, PAM, the People's Labour Party, PLP, and the Concerned Citizens Movement, answered the call of the people. We call the public, made its voice clear. Come together, work together, and govern together is what the people said. And that was the notion of the majority of voters back in 2013. That unity was important to contest the elections against the 20-year incumbent Dr. Douglas Labour Party. And that call led to the formation of a united group of parties, as I just mentioned earlier. Team Unity, it was called. And in 2015, it brought electoral success. For 7 years, that coalition held reins of government. It demonstrated what is possible when cooperation overcomes rivalry. It showed that governance is not just about party colors, but about responsibility to people. And during that time, the coalition had what every political organization ultimately seeks: authority to act, to implement policy, to shape the future of this nation. Nevis, they made the point, was for once not an afterthought. Nevis had what we call a seat at the table.
We were told when we got into office that we wouldn't last 6 weeks, then 6 months. Now I'm hearing them say we won't last 20 years. The truth is that those opposed to this new paradigm never quite understood what we were seeking to achieve. And what we were seeking to achieve is bigger than any individual. In fact, there is some evidence to sustain that, because when Team Unity was formed and came together, the Honorable Vance Amory, senior statesman, was leading the CCM team. He passed over to me. And there was no relaxation in the enthusiasm for Team Unity. And so even through that transition, we recognize that the Concerned Citizens Movement as a political party on the island of Nevis remain committed to this ideal. Because I will tell you candidly, we have seen what the other side looks like, and it has not been pleasant for Nevis. And we have now seen what Team Unity looks and feels like, and we like it.
But my straight dog family, history also teaches us difficult lessons. Because the same coalition that rose on unity eventually faltered because it could not sustain it. Differences emerge, as there are always differences in any partnership. But instead of resolving them, instead of placing country above conflict, those differences were allowed to divide and weaken the government. Dialogue gave way to discord. Compromise was replaced by confrontation. And ultimately, the coalition was fractured. That breakdown carried with it consequences that led to fresh elections, my straight dog family. Recall, I ask you.
My brothers and sisters, let me be clear. One hand cannot clap, and PAM and CCM cannot by themselves save Team Unity as currently configured if the PLP and its leadership has no interest in resolving the issues that confront us. To this end, and consistent with our ongoing efforts to save our Team Unity government, the Honourable Sean Richards and I have delivered a written communication to the Honourable Prime Minister, setting out our position for a path forward. We have taken the unprecedented step of putting a deadline of Wednesday, April 20th, 2022 for a response from the Prime Minister, barring which we can only conclude that he and his team have no interest or desire to save this Team Unity government. We shall therefore know by Wednesday whether we can achieve resolution or whether we face dissolution.
And yes, we face the latter. And in the 2022 elections, when unity was needed most, division prevailed. Let's go to the lines and say goodnight to this caller. Caller, you're live.
That's where I tell people, especially PLP people and the people of the People Action Movement, stop cuss one another. Stop cuss PLP, stop cuss PAM. You understand? You are only making Labour stronger. The more we go out there and we rally together as one, you know, the weaker the Labour administration gonna get, because they're gonna realize we're together again. You understand? Stop cuss and let it be together, because listen, when you cuss PLP, cuss Dr. Harris, you know, Dr. Harris out there is the man now with the strength, the political strength going on, and really got the tongue all meeting and everything and talking, and people attached to him, supporters attached to the man. Let we get together, I tell people, then with our stupidness. Because let me tell you something, we can't afford to let back a Labour government here to suffer the people of this country. They see how things going to live here. They see every day how things going. They see doctors to jump in for a plane almost every month. Going to Africa, going to different parts of the world with all kind of people, but he entourage them. And I can't talk about connected with African thinkers and all kind of things. We don't have a problem with that. But look at your country, look at your people first. When you look at your country and you look at your people, that is what people want. You're talking about hospital, you're talking about school, Now look at it now. They're gonna build a school. They're gonna build a school in Barbados and bring it here and sink it in parts and hook it up. How we tradesmen here gonna get job? How we skilled man here gonna get job? We tradesmen and everything. And the economy dead. Not is nothing doing the economy dead. Because of what? When they went in there, half people for $1,500 instead of $1,000, and they bust it down to they bust only $500 to $250. You know, we can't afford to let people. We can't afford to let people fool us all the time, especially young people of this country. I just stop, look, and listen. Listen to people like me. Listen to straight talk. They got the facts. Good night, welcome, and good night, Jones, up in the United States of America. That is again, you have a wonderful night.
Have a wonderful night as well, my dear brother. Thanks for your intervention, your contributions as usual. But what has happened after the 2022 elections? As I said, when unity was needed most, division prevailed. Two of the former partners preferred to return to the electorate separately, CCM and PAM. And what was the result? Defeat for the two parties. And not necessarily because the people rejected every idea or achievement, but because the strength that once inspired confidence had been lost. And this outcome, as I submitted before, and I'll do again, it challenges a long-held belief that it is always better to be in government than in opposition. Because while it is true that government brings power, the power to implement policies, to allocate resources, and to directly impact lives, that power is not guaranteed. It must be maintained through discipline, cooperation, and a shared commitment to purpose. The reality is this: being in government is not just an opportunity, it is a responsibility. And when that responsibility is neglected, when internal conflict overshadows national interests, the privilege of governance can be taken away. And that's why today, those parties find themselves in opposition. Do they want to stay in opposition? And the lesson here is not simply about loss. It is about understanding what was lost and why it was lost. The people asked for unity, and unity delivered victory. And Team Unity delivered many things in that 7-year period. I listed them. But when division arose, it turned. In turn, it delivered defeat. And if there's a path forward, it lies in remembering that lesson. It lies in recognizing that the true strength of leadership is not in avoiding disagreement. The true strength of leadership is managing disagreement. It lies in placing the interests of the nation above the interests of any single party or personality. Because at the end of the day, governance is not about who sits in power. It is about how that power is used and whether it is preserved for the benefit of the people. And history has already taught us a lesson, one we can ignore at our own peril. In this country, divided opposition guarantees one outcome: prolonged rule by those already in power. United opposition, on the other hand, creates the only viable path to government. That is not speculation, that is empirical fact. And look no further than 1980. Look again at 2015. On both occasions, the People's Action Movement did not rise to power alone. It rose to power through coalition. It rose to power through unity, through strategic cooperation. That is how governments are won in St. Kitts Nevis. That is how the will of the people translated into leadership, my Straight Talk family.
Entities within Team Unity seem to have felt, but we couldn't go it alone, right? The strength of PALM historically was the fact that PALM understood that its participation in government was invariably a result of someone associating themselves with them and keeping them in government. The fact that Sean Richards appeared to believe that PALM could win an election on his own and that he could become a prime minister on his own was, in my opinion, the beginning of the end of PALM in operations. And this is where Natasha Gray Books comes into the case, because she seems to have been drinking the same Kool-Aid. So my question is, who is whispering in her ear and telling her, you can do this thing? And leaders has to understand that you need to be able to lead from in front. And leadership means that you often have to convince yourself of things that are popular and unpopular. So there's a level of political immaturity, I think, that is playing out.
And caller, I thank you for holding. I hope you're not drinking that Kool-Aid as well.
Thank you. Good night, Brother Patrick.
Good night. Good night, sir.
All the listeners. About 3.5 years ago, the Labour Party asked the people to allow them to be of great instrument and do due diligence to govern federation. And in doing so, they were successful due to the fact that they made promises. Rule of thumb, promises are comfort for fools. They go to the procurement, approve all these budget for projects. They promise to the people, we will give you 1,500 instead of the 500 that the Team Unity Party was given. Instead, they reduce that 500 to $250. Promises are comfort for fools. Now moving forward, promises still continue to be made and offer. In sum it up, what of the many promises that was promised has been fulfilled or come to fruition? Can anyone answer that question? And now they continue to brag and boast that they have delivered. They have delivered. They have delivered. Delivered what? Hell nothing. And the people are suffering. They don't have anything to offer. Only empty promises. People, promises are comfort for fool. Do not be a damn idiot fool again. Vote for all the parties except Labour. I hope a coalition party that is yet to be born again will cooperate, collaborate, and communicate on behalf of the people of the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. And deliver, and do not make the people any promises, and they become fools. That is my poem tonight, if I should say. Promises are comfort for fools. Thank you for hearing me, people. I love you all. Last but not least, I am calling upon all the independents party, whether you are one or many, come forward and let us show our strength. Let us show our strength. Don't let it be too late. Let the people know you. Let the people hear you. Come forward. Thank you for hearing me, people. Bye for now.
Thank you very much. My Shrotalk family, in 2022, we witnessed a reckless dismantling of unity. A coalition broken. A government was mashed up. I'll tell you more about that, but let's go to the lines and I'll come back to that. Caller, you're live. Hello, caller?
Excuse me.
Yes?
You can hear me good?
Yes, we're hearing you. Yes.
Okay. Let me tell you something, you hear me? The amount of ungratefulness in our case and Nevis that we do not know how to come out of this year. Even you, who was up there, you see it, and was giving dedication and what's not, and they turn against you and say, you no do nothing. They too ungrateful. So we going to hard ass come out of this thing here with my gratefulness. Eh? Everything is how is. What do you really want to speak? You got a lot of them out there who talk about how is, but they just waiting for what the old people say. Only when ring blood, you see fall bottom. And that's what happens to them. A lot of them out there what talk about Harris. They ain't better than Harris. But you see fall bottom. You do nothing, you get too close, Timothy. Me no know when you know how you do them. Do not do them. But you do you hear me?
Have a good night as well. And yes, as I said, in 2022, we witnessed a dismantling of unity. The government mashed up, as the people would say or have said. And the electorate responded decisively. The electorate delivered a lesson clear, unmistakable, and deserved. And that lesson was, and still is, better to be in government than to sit divided in opposition. And today, the country is living with the consequences under Terence Michael Drew and his failed Labour administration. The past 4 years have not met the expectations of the people. The slow student, Jeffrey Hanley, promised 2,400 homes, 600 per year. It is saying now, having reneged on the contract or failed on the contract, he has built 800 houses. Where? In the sky? But the expectations of the people have not been met. Discontent is rising. The call for change is growing louder and louder in every constituency, in every community, and in every household. The cost of living is out of control. But let's be honest. Change will not come through wishful thinking. Change will not come through ego. Change will not come through political stubbornness. It will only come through unity. And this is where the People's Action Movement must confront reality. The current posture, this insistence on aligning with PLP but rejecting its leader, Timothy Harris, that is not strategy. It is contradiction. It is political self-sabotage. That's the general view. Because leadership matters. Influence matters. Electoral strength matters. And the truth is simple. Cannot be disputed in this country. Among the political figures, there are only a few with demonstrated national appeal. And say what you want to say. One of them, as outlined by this political consultant, hear it for yourselves, my Straight Talk family.
Talk about Sean Richards as a potential leader. I've never heard anybody mention Natasha Gray Brooks as a potential leader. Azar Gums as a potential leader. I've never heard people talking about even Mark Brantley as a leader of the Federation. But they talk about Harris, they talk about Drew, they talk about Denzel Douglas. And against that background, in a situation where you don't have a lot of time, I would think that it would make perfect sense to put the person leading it as the person who was, well known, and people seem to have a lot of confidence in his ability to lead.
And that's the view of a political consultant, a man who does political consulting for his living. And these are not fantasies. These are the political realities, whether we like them or not. And this is coming from, as I said, Peter Wickham, who earns his living from political consulting. And I believe Peter. I have no reasons to disbelieve him. To pretend otherwise is to misread the electorate. And what of Pam's own leadership? Bold claims are being made. But claims do not win elections. Votes do. Confidence does. The ability to command a constituency does. If a leader cannot secure a clear majority in his or her own base, her own constituency, how can he or she credibly claim the ability to lead a nation? And this is not personal. This is political arithmetic. So, my Straight Talk family, we have arrived at the crossroads. One path is pride, division, fragmentation, and another, unavoidable defeat. The other path is pragmatism, unity, coalition, and a genuine chance to return to government. Do you think that choice is difficult? Should PAM and PLP come together? Or should PLP and NRP come together? What is the concoction? What is the mixture? But some coming together has to come to fruition. Fully, honestly, and strategically. Not halfway, not conditionally, not with artificial red lines that weaken the very alliance required to win. Let us be honest, my Straight Talk family. Do you believe a divided opposition guarantees a Labour victory? Every time, many people say. And if PAM refuses to face this reality, then it is not Labour that will keep them out of government. It is their own decisions. The people are ready for change. They are calling for it. But they cannot deliver that change if those seeking to lead them remain divided. This moment demands maturity. It demands courage. It demands leadership grounded in reality, not illusion. Some say unite or lose. That is the choice, my Straight Talk family. We take these final emails as we wind down tonight's programming. Good night, Patches, reads this email. Right now, it seems as Facebook is in an uproar with a blogger or influencer, whatever he may be, is of the view that PAM should have or should not have a coalition with PLP or join with PLP. And furthermore, stating if that happens, he won't vote for PAM again. Laugh out loud. I really do wonder how his one-man vote he thinks is so powerful. He needs to understand PAM is dead. Now they need a lot of work to be done. Since 1993 to 1995, that era was the last they ever been in government until 2015. By the same PLP party who got them there, else, never again. They will be down Church Street. And to Shani, if you want to join with PLP, do it. Don't let a one person who don't even live in St. Kitts run your show. Reads this email. And those are my emails for tonight. And as we wind down tonight's program in my Straight Talk family, I mentioned earlier, and I need to repeat it. And as I said, I deliberately avoided this issue, this topic, for a long time. But I was forced to address it tonight. Because in recent times, many are approaching me. Many from all walks of life and from different political persuasions. I met one strong Pamite who confessed to me that PAM urgently needs to dialogue with PLP, but not with Harris. And I reminded that individual that Harris is the leader. Another senior member of the PAM executive was adamant that if PLP wants to contest the seat in constituency number 1, then PAM will have no discussion whatsoever with PLP. Well, I said to him that no party should determine which seat they will contest in any coalition. They should leave that to the science. Let the science determine who will be the best candidate. But in the end, what I have heard over these past weeks from those in opposition is not strategy. What I have heard is hesitation dressed up in principle and division disguised as strength. Because when serious voices argue that dialogue can happen with a party, but not with its leader, or that discussions collapse over a single constituency, in my humble view, that exposes a deeper issue, a lack of political maturity at a moment that demands exactly the opposite. History, I intimated earlier, offers a clearer standard. It was George Washington, former president, who walked away from power, my Straight Talk family, when he could have held on to it, placing country above self and establishing a democratic tradition that endures today. Perhaps I'll take my final calls for the night. I'll take 2 more calls before I wrap. Caller, you're live. Hello, caller.
That is Negan. That is in every forum and tongue I mean Negan. They're talking about water. They're talking about light. They're talking about different things. Voting. That is any administration get into government. That is the first thing they're supposed to look for. Who develop water, who develop the electricity, solar panel, because the country is expanding, houses, building project is going on all the time. So that is nothing to boast up all about, because administration come all the time and try to develop the water system and develop the solar system with the lights and everything. So I don't see nothing that just try to fool people. And I want to let people blind to see when Team Unity do for 7 years. Team Unity has done so much for 7 years, that is. These guys in here right now, people can't find food to put on the table. People go into the supermarket, they got to put that down things. The grass was growing green. Everybody could afford to pay the light bill. Everybody could afford to pay the water bill. Everybody could afford to pay the mortgage. Right now, Dr. Jogani is style the country, style the economy. Style the economy, Patches. Ain't doing nothing, just talking, and shoveling. Patches, I can deal with them, you know. I can deal with them this election, and I calling out the people them to come out whenever they call an election. Let me burn ourselves together and get them out there and good for the country. You see it. You all see it every day. Okay, then, Patches.
Thank you, my brother.
I have had discussions with the Honorable Sean Richards. We would have undertaken this last election as a one movement construct. We had committed that the Honorable Sean Richards would be supported as Prime Minister. Unfortunately, that did not happen.
Entities within Team Unity seem to have felt, but we couldn't go it alone, right? The strength of PAM historically was the fact that PAM understood that its participation in government was invariably a result of someone associating themselves with them and keeping them in government. The fact that Sean Richards appeared to believe that PAM could win an election on his own and that he could become a prime minister on his own was, in my opinion, the beginning of the end of PAM in operations. And this is where Natasha Gray Books comes into the case, because she seems to have been drinking the same Kool-Aid. So my question is, who is whispering in her ear and telling her, you can do this thing? You know, and leaders has to understand that you need to be able to lead from in front. And leadership means that you often have to convince yourself of things that are popular and unpopular. So there's a level of political immaturity, I think, that is playing out. Talk about Sean Richards as a potential leader. I've never heard anybody mention Natasha Gray Brooks as a potential leader. Azar Guns as a potential leader. I've never heard people talking about even Mark Brantley as a leader of the Federation. But they talk about Harris, they talk about Drew, they talk about Denzel Douglas. And against that background, in a situation where you don't have a lot of time, I would think that it would make perfect sense to put the person leading it as the person who was, you know, well known, and people seem to have a lot of confidence in his ability to lead.
My final emails for tonight, my Straight Dog family. We firmly believe that our Prime Minister needs to check himself. His reasoning is quite poor. The latest example, he has encouraged his supporters and people of this country to drive around and see all that has been accomplished in the 4 years they have governed. Are we looking at projects that reflect the poor reasoning of the PM? A school to be constructed 600 miles away and shipped here piece by expensive piece. A $50 million desalination plant that produces a meager 2 million gallons per day, which will cost millions to operate and maintain, which will no doubt burden our already poor country. The museum started and abandoned. A water tank project with millions spent and no result. And numerous other initiatives that display ego and poor reasoning rather than genuine care and concern for the people of St. Kitts and Nevis. And those are my final emails for tonight. And my Straight Talk family, as we wind down, I made the point that history offers clear standards. I made the point about George Washington, former president, who walked away from power when he could have held on to it, placing country above self and establishing a democratic tradition that endures until today. I refer to Nelson Mandela, who chose reconciliation over revenge, sacrificing personal and political advantage to unify a fractured nation. Basjo Pandey made difficult decisions in the pursuit of stability and social justice, understanding that leadership is not about ego, it is about outcome. And these examples are not distant stories. They are reminders of what real leadership requires. If those who seek to govern St. Kitts and Nevis cannot rise above narrow interests, cannot compromise, cannot unify, then they are not ready to lead. The path forward is not complicated. It is not simply difficult. It requires humility. It requires realism. And above all else, it requires unity. Stronger together is not a slogan. It is the only path back to government. And that's my story tonight, my Straight Talk family, and I am not going to change it. I want to thank Almighty God for guiding our conversation tonight, as always. I want to thank you, the many viewers and listeners, those who send emails and those who call. May I remind you that you are the ones who make Straight Talk, and for that reason I say a big, big thank you. I am Ian Patches Liebert and God's Spear. We will connect on Thursday for another edition of Straight Talk. Until then, be good to yourselves and to all whom you meet. Remember that whatever your mind conceive, that you will achieve. But first of all, you got to believe. So when you wake in the morning, thank God for the morning light. Thank Him for taking you to the night. And my Straight Talk family, keep moving on. Bye-bye. Until we connect on Thursday.
In the morning, I thank God for the morning light. Give Him thanks and praises for taking me safely through the night. For the rest of food and loving care, and for my mother's breath of life that's got me here. So whatever my mind conceives, that I will achieve, you better believe, because I do the things I should, be to my brethren kind and good, the best I could. So I'll keep moving on, I won't stop now, I'll keep moving on, till I reach the top somehow. Down on my knees, the Lord I kneel and pray, with my heart and soul, beg Him to take me through each day, my guardian to keep, and my guide, over every step I take, He will preside. So whatever my mind conceives, that I will achieve, you better believe, because I do the things I should, be to my brethren kind and good, the best I could. So I'll keep moving on, I won't stop now, I'll keep moving on. reach the top somehow.